If you guys are just jumping on and you want us to see your comments just like this, Facebook user, if you allow StreamYard to let us see your comments, we'll be able to see your name instead of just Facebook user. If you're jumping in from the subscriber scaling group, let me know. Hashtag subscriber scaling or subscriber. If you're jumping in from the group convert group, hashtag group convert. Let me know. We're streaming to both groups today. And hey guys, hey Sammy. Say hey, hashtag live if you guys are here live, smash the heart button. We want the rest of the group to know that this awesome free training is going on today with my host, Jamie Atkinson. I met Jamie about 2 years ago. He is just such a ball of fire, and he's stuck with teaching some people, like they choose a path and they jump all around. Not with Jamie. He's like, I'm teaching people how to blow up their podcast, how to monetize their podcast. And throughout the way, I saw a lot of my own peers as well as really big names, really big clients go and have Jamie go through Jamie's system and learn how to quickly monetize their podcast. And the old way that I keep thinking is, oh, you need to do like 1 million shows in order to even do any kind of get anything. But he told me, no, that's not the case. So today we're going to dive right on into it. And I'm going to have Jamie take it away. And I'll be in the comments, you guys, to interact with you while Jamie is he's gonna be presenting and giving you this awesome free training. So take it away, Jamie.
Hey Kim, thank you so much for the warm introduction. Hey guys, what's up? Some of you guys know me already. I'm Jamie Atkinson, and like Kim says, I am still doing podcasting and I'm still at it today. And I can see a bunch of you guys coming in right now. I want to let you guys know something really important though. Today we're not just going to be talking to people who already have podcasts. It doesn't matter whether you have a podcast, whether you want one in the future, whether you're just coming around to the idea, or even if you're a seasoned pro. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff that's going to help you go from where you're at today to actually go and monetize and make more sales in a way that's completely different to what everybody else is going out there. Now, I'm a big lover of like feedback and talking to you guys because I like to make sure that the training is customized. So please let me know in the comments as you're going through it. If you see me looking over here in this direction, I talk a lot with my hands. I'm super weird like that, but I'm looking up at the screen here to make sure I don't miss any of your guys' comments. And what I want to go through today with you guys is something really powerful that we discovered along inside of our podcasting journey. And what I want to talk to you about today is how you can actually go out there and use a podcast or use a profitable podcast to actually fuel your business, how you can leverage podcasting to actually go and make more sales in your business. So it doesn't matter whether you're a coach, whether you're an affiliate marketer, whether you're selling courses online, whether you've got an online product, maybe you've got a subscription product if you're in this group, right? Some of you Chromeboss people have these products. Every single one of those types of products you can leverage and start making sales. And I'm not talking about the old conventional way of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 months down the line. I'm talking about today, how you guys can actually leverage podcasting to make sales in your business in a very short space of time. So super excited to have you guys here today. And just to let you guys know how this training is going to go, in a second, I'm going to pull up some slides. And we're going to be going through them and giving you guys some insight. I've got some really cool things that I want to give away for you guys for free at the end of the training today as well. And one thing I want to know, because I want to make this training as customized as possible. And yes, Gina, I have an Italian girlfriend. We're going to go into that in just a second. I want to know about you. I want to know about you guys. I want to know about your business. And I want to know about what you're currently doing in the online space. The more I know about you, the easier it's going to be to help me actually give you the best advice possible. So please let me know down in the comments right now, what do you do in your business? What do you sell online? Are you an affiliate marketer? Do you sell coaching? Do you sell courses? Let me know what it is that you do. And then by knowing that, I'm going to be able to make this much more customized to you guys. And anytime as you're going through this, if you have questions, if there's anything you want to ask, again, please drop it down the bottom. I've got a couple of my team members in the chat today. Keep an eye out for Gina, my amazing partner and girlfriend. She's going to be there to answer a lot of your guys in the questions, just in case I miss anything. So let me guys ask you one question. Are you guys ready to get started? Because I'm so ready to jump into this. Let me just pull up my slides, make sure you guys can see everything. So can everybody see my slides right now? Let's just pull this up on the screen. Let me know if you guys can't see this. because I want to make sure I can see what you guys are doing. We got OD coming in saying he does music online. I love that. We had you guys coming in from different places. And guys, I want to just have a little fun here. So don't be scared, even if you aren't like super sold and you're like, Jamie, I don't know what I do. I want to make sure that we can cover this for you. So as you guys know, I'm Jamie, and I want to actually share some really cool facts about podcasting. But before I do, I want you guys to stay around till the end, because I've got this amazing publishing guide that I want to give you, because I want to get you out of the stuck zone and out there into publishing in the online space. And this is my stupid simple guide to publishing your podcast in literally 5 minutes. And that's no joke. And I want to give you to that, guys, at the end of the training today. So make sure you stick around. But first, let me share these podcasting facts with you, because most people don't understand this about podcasting. The average podcaster, they only produce 7 episodes before quitting. 80% of Anchor podcasts, which is one of the free Anchor brand podcasts out there, they don't even get a single download. And 90% of podcasts that get created don't make it past 3 months. And most podcasters, the sad truth is they have no idea what success looks like. And I can see you guys coming in now, and I want to let you know, if you've tried this, if you've tried to go out there, if you've tried to publish content, if you've tried a podcast, if you've tried in Facebook groups and it hasn't worked, I want you to know it's not your fault, right? It's okay to dream about being an amazing host, being able to step on a platform like we're doing right now and go out and sell your products or sell what you're putting out there. But honestly, the truth is what most people are teaching in the podcasting space right now, it only works if you're already successful and have a huge audience. And honestly, these people, they want to tell you how to do it, but they're not teaching you how to grow your business with a podcast. That's okay though, because honestly, I was just like you. I was in that same position, going through exactly the same stuff, just trying to make it work and trying to get through it. And podcasting right now, what I want you guys to understand is that right now, in this day and age that we're in, podcasting is the #1 way to grow your online business. And I'm going to show you that today. And all in all, I just want to let you guys know, if you've tried this and it hasn't worked, you've probably been cheated. You've been lied to by some of these other people. That's okay though, because we're going to move forward today. Now, Kim has given me a big briefing on who you guys are and what you guys need. And I know a lot of you guys are incredible online marketers, and I want to learn more about you as we go through this training today. So I can see Jamie saying marketing, communication, and branding. Jamie, I love that. That's so many awesome things. Kim's in coaching. We've got Collins here. He's an affiliate marketer in e-commerce. We've got Gil in marketing, branding, visibility, dating advice for men. We've got coaching again. We've got in the music space. So just so you guys know, all of these different types of businesses, what we're going to show you today is how you can actually leverage the ability to podcast and software, of course, Kim. We wouldn't forget software, to make sure that you guys can actually monetize your business. Because that's what we're here about today. We're here to show you guys these 3 very simple secrets to helping you to exponentially grow your business with a podcast. And by the way, none of these methods require an audience. They don't require an email list, and they don't even require you to be promoting. And even if you have less than 100 listeners, you guys are going to be able to do this. Even one of my clients, Matt Decino, he actually about 6 months ago was giving birth. Well, it wasn't him, it was his wife. And he'd actually done 43 interviews. He hadn't even launched his podcast yet because his wife was giving birth, and he closed multiple clients. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. So my goal for today is very, very simple. I want to show you guys why a podcast is the #1 growth tool that you need to be focusing on in 2020. We're also going to show you how to grow your business with your podcast, even if you don't have a huge audience or a ton of time, or even if you haven't launched one yet. And we're also going to show you how to use a podcast to drastically increase your sales and conversion immediately. So I want to make sure you guys are with me. So right now, let's just get super weird. I want to just mess this up so everybody who watches this video later is like, oh my God, what did Jamie do? Why is everybody so angry? Just everybody drop like an angry emoji face to me right now, so I know that you guys are with me, right? Are you guys with me? So drop that down, because I want to know that you guys are paying attention. So today, I'm actually going to share a sneak peek of the Podcast Profit Lab, but let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm Jamie. I'm kind of just like you, and like Kim said, I was trying to figure out how to make an online business, and through no paid traffic and just literally organic hard work and the secrets I'm about to share with you, we've done really, really well in the online space. And to tell you a little bit about me, I'm a massive nerd. I love Harry Potter. Harry Potter is kind of like my jam. This is me and Gina. Something that's super important to me in my life is our dog, Millie. And unfortunately, she's not with us right now in Costa Rica. She's actually back home in Philadelphia. You won't see me anywhere without this dog. We literally do just hang out everywhere with one another. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this is something that's super, super important to me, is building a business that gives you the things that you actually want in life. And in the last 6 to 12 months, our business has absolutely exploded. Our first year in business, we actually did over $253,000 in sales. The previous year, having only done 25,000, guys, we 10x, and it was 100% down to the podcast. And what I'm about to share with you is how we did this and how we helped over 250 people launch these profitable podcasts, many of which are now generating this stable monthly recurring revenue and making sales anywhere from $1,500 all the way up to $40,000. But in the last 12 months, we've actually helped people generate $6 million in sales just through the strategies which I'm going to share with you guys today. And these aren't people with massive followings and huge audiences. They're people just like me and you, people who just want to get their message out there and to help people in the online space. I've also been a member of Russell Brunson's 2 Comma Club X program with the founders of the podcast Profit Lab. I'm a #1 best-selling speaker with our book, The $1 Million Story. And last year, Russell Brunson actually, when we were able to go and speak in front of people before all of the pandemic, Russell Brunson asked me to speak into his 2 Comma Club X mastermind, all about podcasting and how you guys can do it with the podcasting in this online space. Now, nobody else is doing this in the podcasting space. Lots of people are out there making mistakes, and people like this, they invested $25,000 to $50,000 just to be there. And I just want to pause a sec, because exactly what I taught to them, today I'm going to be teaching you guys the exact same strategies. And these people right now, like, we're actually going to go more in depth today than what we did inside of that training there. So I'm going to go through how we scaled to multiple 6 figures, helped hundreds launch shows, and we've helped countless shoes make money podcasting in the first 30 days. But last year, if this all kind of sounds too good to be true, just like you guys, when I started, I didn't have a lot of money. In fact, I didn't really have much money at all. And I was in this position where I said, okay, I've got only a few people on my list. Yes, I'm getting by, but honestly, I'm pretty broke. And this microphone right here, I didn't even know which end to plug in, right? And like, how many of you guys feel that way sometimes with putting stuff out there online? I don't even know which way to speak into the microphone. And if you look at my story back in April 2016, I actually wanted to be a blogger. This is my old blog. It was called Let's Get Jobless. And in September 2017, I ended up leaving my job, doing the classic digital nomad pose on the beach. By the way, nobody ever works from a beach like that when they've got their feet in the sand. It's just not realistic. But 9 months later, I actually ended up leaving my job. In December 2017, I met my amazing and wonderful girlfriend and partner, Gina. In April 2018, I actually ended up flying from Thailand all the way to the US to be with her. And we ended up getting her fired from her engineering job. She blames me, I blame the dog. But all in all, it turned out pretty good, because in October 2018, we went out and we started traveling together. Now, at this point, I tried a bunch of different businesses. And how many of you guys right now, I feel like you're in that position? You've tried a bunch of different businesses, and some of them are taking, but some of them aren't working. We were in that position where it wasn't really working for us. We actually went through the One Funnel Away Challenge in October 2018. And one of the messages that I heard time and time again was this message of, you've got to be publishing, right? You've got to publish, you've got to put your message out there. And I heard it, but I didn't really hear it. And we ended up flying from Thailand to the US to go to Funnel Hacking Live in 2019. We were actually so broke at this event that we couldn't afford to eat at Funnel Hacking Live. So Gina was upstairs in the hotel room, actually making us hotel room waffles and grilled cheese sandwiches with the iron, because apparently you can do that. And I wanted to let you guys know that, when we were in this position at Funnel Hacking Live, we knew that we needed to change, but we didn't know how. And I ended up knowing that I needed to go out and publish and share my message. And I decided I was going to do it with a podcast. And we decided, go all out, publish the podcast. But it was really, really tough. But then suddenly there was some kind of breakthrough that happened. And we went through this position of podcasting for 2 or 3 months. And suddenly we were having our first 5-figure month. And we'd gone months and months and months and months without being able to make more than $1,000 or $2,000. And I want to slow this down for a second, because, maybe just like you guys, like, we're talking about making sandwiches because we couldn't afford to eat out. We're talking about this breakthrough coming from investing in myself. We didn't have an offer. We didn't have an audience. We didn't have any money. We didn't even have an idea of what we wanted to do. We just had this willingness to show up. And the key was actually investing in ourselves. When we invested in ourselves and we surrounded ourselves by other amazing entrepreneurs, That's when we had this breakthrough. And thanks to podcasting, we then went back to this event with the 2 Comma Club X. And within 3 months, I was making a fortune compared to what I was doing before. This was at Steve Larson's event over in Boise. We made $50,000 to this day. And literally within 6 months, not only were we in the 2 Comma Club X program, maxed out and suddenly having success, but within 12 months, I was asked by Russell Brunson to speak on his stage. We crossed over $250,000 in revenue. And we went from broke and no idea what to do to suddenly figuring out our business and having a ton of success in a really, really short space of time. And the reason I'm telling you this story, guys, is I want you guys to know right now, wherever you're at, it doesn't matter if you know exactly where you're going or if you're completely stuck. A lot of us are still looking for that thing, that leg up that we can get that's going to take us to the masses. And what I want to share with you guys is that podcasting for most people is that thing that helps them have the breakthrough. Russell Brunson, if you look at him, his business was completely broke. He just had to fire 300 people and his business was going bankrupt. And the very next day, he started his first podcast, Marketing in Your Car. You look at Joe Rogan when he got started, he wasn't actually successful before his podcast. You have people like Brendan Bouchard, Alex Sharfin, who wasn't really in momentum until he started with his show. Even people like Steve Larson, all of these people that you guys know, these experts that put themselves out there, a lot of these people didn't have successful businesses or super successful businesses when they started their podcast. And their podcasts were the catalyst for them being able to go out and get it to the next level. So I'm going to show you the how, right? You're crazy to do this on your own because you need to know the right way to do this. If you try to go out and do this and just launch a podcast, you're probably going to do what everybody else does. And that's going to leave you in a position where you're failing. And that's not what I want for you guys. What I want to show you is these proven frameworks we've been using over the last 18 months to help you avoid failing. But more importantly, not just how to avoid failing, but how to actually go out and launch an amazing podcast into the top charts that's going to get you paid in the first 28 days, because that's what we all want, right? How many of you guys would love to get paid in the first 30 days of launching a brand new podcast? Give me like a love heart emoji, that little emoji that so I can see it popping up on the screen right now, if that's you. So today I want to share these 3 really powerful secrets of podcasting. And secret number 1, it's our weird 1970s pirate radio hack to a top 200 launch. And it's how you can actually go out and instantly launch into the top 200 charts, literally in the first 48 hours of launching, even if you don't have an audience and even if you don't have an email list. Second, I want to walk you guys through podcast closing. This was the thing that helped me break through, guys. So I made my first $25,000 in the online space. We're going to show you how to generate sales immediately with your podcast without ever needing to sell to your audience. And then finally, I'm going to share with you the 3-hour work week, how you can actually give yourself a massive pay rise, avoid tech problems or overwhelm, and publish your podcast in less than 3 hours a week. This morning, me and Gina, we were down at the beach hanging out with turtles. You guys can see this if you're on our Instagram. We don't work obscene hours all of the time. And we've been able to do that because of the podcast and the way we set up our business. And I want to show you guys how to do just that as well. So let's get into this. Secret number 1, my weird 1970s pirate radio hack to getting into a top 200 launch. So first, why are people going crazy about podcasting? Well, if you guys have seen out there, in 2018, podcasts absolutely exploded. They erupted. 64% of Americans have heard of them. 44% had listened to a podcast. 26% had listened monthly. And a ton of people were on the mobile device listening to podcasts. There was over 500,000 active shows. Fast forward to the beginning of 2020, and these numbers grew even more. You had 75% of people who have heard of podcasts in America, 55% listening to a podcast. That's 155 million people. And 37% of Americans have listened monthly. That's over 100 million people. But the thing that I want to show you guys here that's really important is the amount of podcasts. They've almost doubled, right? People are coming into podcasting thick and fast. And what I want you guys to understand is that it's going to be challenging for you to figure out how to compete against these big guys without these secret advantages we're going to be able to give you. Now, the big thing that I want you guys to understand here is that 68 million Americans listen every single week to podcasts. The average person that listens and hits play on your podcast episode will listen to over 80% of every episode that you put out there. 80% of everything. Doesn't matter if it's 10 hours, 20 hours, 50 hours, they'll listen to 80%. And there's now 76 million Americans who have smart speakers in their home. And the most important thing, which I love, is that 45% of monthly podcast listeners, they have a household income over 75K. What this equates to is that podcast audiences are rich, and they're a rich market. People that are willing to step up and pay you money. So the question becomes like, why should you podcast, right? You guys are here, you're doing coaching, visibility, online, you're doing software, you're doing all of these different things. What's in it for you? And the podcast facts are pretty simple. Your podcast, it gives you access to people that you wouldn't have access to before. I've been able to broker amazing partnerships, deals with incredible entrepreneurs, become friends with people, get invited onto stages because I had a podcast. It was my way to get in and actually build those relationships with those people. But most people don't realize that your podcast is actually an asset that you own. It's just like an email list. It allows you to own that list, and nobody from Facebook to YouTube to LinkedIn can take your people away from you on your podcast, just like an email list. It also allows you to build your authority and credibility incredibly quickly in the online space, and it helps you to build your audience. And back in November 2018, I actually put this out there and I said, okay, I'm going to be documenting via a podcast. And when we got to Funnel Hacking Live in 2019, there was two really powerful messages that I heard. And there was a guy on stage called Nicholas Biley, and he was talking about something called your mess becomes your message. He had this idea that if he could go out there and be incredibly honest with his audience, then they were going to start becoming magnetically attracted to him almost overnight. And while me and Gina were there making sandwiches and trying to figure out how we could get this breakthrough, I realized that I needed to be sharing my message with my audience. And something that I've heard a lot at this pre-event is that if you're the person that actually hosts the party, then people are going to answer your call. This was apparently true with Hugh Hefner as well, the guy that ran the Playboy Mansion. Every time anybody came up to him and said, Hef, I'm throwing a party, do you want to come over? They would say, you know what? I'm not coming to your party, but you can come to the Playboy Mansion. And this is something that's very, very important to understand, is that if you have a platform, then you are able to unlock access. And if you listen to entrepreneurs like Steve Larsen, Steve talks about podcasting all the time. He says, frankly, you can start listening to 80% of the tactics that he teaches. And if you just publish consistently, your life is going to be dramatically different in a year. This is so powerful because if you don't publish, then you're never going to become relevant. And as I came back from that flight, I was looking off in the distance. I knew I had to put myself out there. I had to become relevant. Otherwise, I wasn't going to succeed. In February 2019, I ended up launching our podcast. We got into New and Noteworthy. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. And yes, we were excited. We talked about amazing things to hook people in, like changing people's attention through crazy, weird episodes. But within 2 months, nothing had happened. We put out episodes, but we weren't getting the breakthrough. And how many of you guys, you can relate with that, right? How many of you guys have actually put out content and then nothing happened? And me and Gina, we were in a tough spot. We were paying for this coaching program. We didn't have a revenue coming into our business. And this is actually us on the floor of our parents' house because they didn't have a spare room. We didn't have anywhere to go. And we were literally sleeping on a single mattress side by side with Millie in between us. And after 2 or 3 months, we were just persevering. And I was like, man, if I can just keep sticking at this, maybe something's going to change. And after a couple of months, things started to become a little bit easier with the podcast. Suddenly, I started to get this clarity about how I could help people. Suddenly, we started to publish more consistently, and people were coming to us on a more consistent basis. And because we had this amazing platform, we were able to unlock access to these incredible entrepreneurs and people. You see, guys, with a podcast, what it does, it can help you to discover your voice and your message, and it can help you build that initial tribe of 1,000 true fans. And by going out interviewing people who are just like your dream customers, you're able to get authority through association. Within 3 months, we got clear on how we were going to help people thanks to the podcast. And we gained huge, massive authority in my marketplace as the go-to guy for podcasting. Within 9 months, Russell Brunson was asking me to speak in front of 300 people who were paid $30,000 to $50,000. Within 12 months, we passed over 300K revenue completely organically. And I want you to take a look at these entrepreneurs for a second. Russell Brunson, Steve Larsen, Alex Sharfin, broken, failing business, launched a podcast, now $1 billion company. Steve Larsen, no business, no capital. Today, their business now has actually done over 8 million on the way to 10 million in sales. Alex Sharfin, even when he started his podcast, his business wasn't in momentum. You have people like Josh Forti, Lauren Tickner, and even us. Josh talks about this all the time. He was depressed, lost, his business was failing, and he was stuck. And when he launched his podcast, suddenly he gained that clarity and he was able to do a successful exit. He was able to generate over $3 million for his clients and break through to the next level. And we have students that have done just the same thing, even though they don't have massive audiences. You have people like Lori Lynch. She was a book editor making $500 to $1,500 a month. Today, she's made over 50K from her podcast. You have people like our wonderful ladies here, like Lizanne, right? Lizanne went out and I was able to reach a much, much wider audience. And we have so many students now that have passed the 20K, the 25K mark and become that go-to expert in their space. And the one thing I want you guys to understand here that's so powerful is that your customer list is your number one asset as a business. We hear this all the time. Great email lists, they have on average about a 30% open rate. But if somebody listens to just one of your episodes, on average, they're going to listen to 80% of everything you put out. Not just 80% of that episode, 80% of every single piece of your content. So I want you guys to understand this. If you want to be able to get access to your audience and get them to own your asset, podcasting is one of the most powerful ways to reach them. And if you guys right now, let me know in the comments, how many of you think, you know what, Jamie, this sounds cool, but I actually think it's really hard to launch a podcast. Or Jamie, I don't know how to launch a podcast. Like if that's you, let me know down below right now, like if you're feeling that way. Because what I want to tell you guys is that the actual truth is it isn't difficult. It's very, very, very simple to go out and launch a podcast successfully. And I want to share with you guys how you can do this right now. And it's important to remember though, just because this is simple doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Now, this is where I want to talk to you guys about the pirate radio, because back in the 1970s in the UK, there was something out there called regular terrestrial radio, the kind of thing that we listen to nowadays, but they weren't playing rock music. And they started to become these pirate radio stations where people, entrepreneurs, these music enthusiasts, they decided to grow together. They decided to meet up and actually put on their own radio station to meet this growing demand for pop and rock music. And it wasn't covered by the BBC radio services at that time, the people who were going out there, right? And in these radio times, right, what they were doing is maybe you guys aren't in the basement making music like pirates, but you know, in reality, we're doing things differently, right? And when pirate radio existed, these guys would go into the middle of the ocean, they would go on these massive barge ships, and they would start broadcasting out into the world. And these pirate radio stations, they didn't have big budgets, they didn't have marketing people behind them. They were just a bunch of guys that were trying to capture the attention of the people in their audience, right? Does that sound familiar to any of you guys? And it was pirates versus the corporations. And what I want you guys to realize is that the same battle is going on today, but maybe you guys don't realize it. And it's us, the podcasters, the independent artists, the independent business owners, putting out our shows on podcasts and email and putting out our platforms versus the very big guys like in Facebook. And I want to be real with you guys. You know, I'm paying my coach tens of thousands of dollars a year right now. This dude has 5 VIP ad account reps. He speaks to them every single week about Facebook. And even he, this guy who is so invested in Facebook and has agencies, even he is saying that in the next 18 months, the biggest transition needs to be around diversifying away from Facebook and going to other platforms. The reason we're so passionate about this is in January of this year, our entire Facebook profiles got completely deleted. Years, 10 years of memories, histories, photos, friendships, connections just completely disappeared like they never existed. And mine and Gina's profile got shut down. Not our business page, not our Facebook group, nothing like that. I'm talking about our actual personal profile. And the thing that I want you guys to know is that this is happening to people all the way over. And you know, we've gone out there and we've spent literally hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars running Facebook ads and getting people to show up to a presentation just like this. And the truth is that relying on these platforms is going to be a position where you're going to be potentially in jeopardy, right? So many people right now are losing accounts, are losing profiles, organic reach is down, and they're finding it much, much harder to stand out in the online space. But instead of going out and publishing on a profile or into a group where maybe 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 100 people are going to see your message, with a podcast, if somebody subscribes, everybody gets that notification. Everybody gets to consume your content. And instead of running ads or promoting on social media, Just one podcast interview can actually do more for you than anything you can imagine online. We did one podcast interview. It cost us 30 minutes of time. And we ended up getting in front of an email list with 40,000 people on that email list. We had 750 people showing up from that. And what I want you guys to understand is that it's completely possible for you guys to compete. So many of you guys right now are saying, how do I compete? How do I stand out? How do I do things differently? And that's exactly what I'm going to show you guys, because it's not too late to go and stand out next to these expert people. And what I want to share with you guys is how you can do it just like the pirate radio people did back in the 1970s with this weird pirate radio hack. And what I want you guys to understand is, first of all, how do you build trust with your audience? Because trust is how you're going to make sales, right? Jamie is saying it. I'm all for having things on my platforms, right? Something that I own. Yes, Jamie, that's so important. So if you will look at the old way of building trust, and this is how everybody online is telling you to build a podcast today, and I think this is the wrong way. They tell you to go and grow an audience. They tell you to improve your know, like, and trust factor. And they tell you to publish consistently. Publish all the time, publish every day, go and put yourself out there, right? And the estimated time to actually getting paid this way is like 12 to 24 months, and sometimes even longer, right? Without getting paid. If you just go out and publish every single day, then magically something is going to come out and you're going to start making money. Well, I don't believe in magical fairy tales. I like to live in the actual real world where real stuff happens. And I couldn't wait 12 months to get paid in my business. I couldn't afford to do that. So I want to introduce you guys the new way to actually building trust with a podcast really, really fast. And it's very, very simple. All you need to do is launch into the top 200 charts. It's just like becoming an Amazon best-selling author to instantly get validated and be seen as an expert. And what you can do is you can leverage that newfound authority to unlock dream clients and massive joint venture partnerships. And the time it takes to do this is very, very fast. We've had people get into a top 200 position in literally 16 to 24 hours. We recommend for most people it takes 48 to 72 hours. And the best part is you guys can actually be paid to do it this way, right? You need to do this the new way. Ben, 100%, like the old way of building trust. Yes, it works, but the problem is most people can't stick it out, right? Most people can't go and publish every day for a year knowing they can't get paid. I want to show you how you can get paid and still do that, right? It's so important. And, you know, we have people like Ron and Corey here. They actually were able to build amazing partnerships with people like Catherine Jones, Brian Delaney, obviously an incredible $10 million entrepreneur. And this was the kind of results that they were getting. And he said, you know, we started off not too impressive, bringing in $6,000, but in the last 2 weeks, they closed two $15,000 clients. And this happened literally 3-4 months into their process of launching their podcast. Suddenly the clarity came, it all clicked, and they started to get amazing partnerships as well as starting to close real clients. And yes, Kiara, this works for brand new podcasts and existing podcasts. And I'm going to show you how you can do this in just a second. So let's take a look at this. Reem, for example, is another one of our students, and I want to walk you through the process of what she did. She went out and she used podcast closing, the strategy I'm going to share with you in a second, to actually close $100,000 worth of sales in just a few months. In the first week of her podcast launch, she was able to interview Elena Cardone, the wife of the billionaire Grant Cardone, right, in the very first week. And she's gone on to interview people like Dean Graziosi and other amazing entrepreneurs on our podcast. And if you want to go out there and get into these top chart positions, this is possible for you. You don't need an audience. These are people right here on the screen. Roxana, we had Anne, Escaping Ordinary, and Jesse Rowe inside of here. All of these people had 0 people on their email list, 0 audiences behind them. And yet they were able to go and launch into the top 10, the top 160th, the top 60th, and able to get themselves up there into the online space. And I'm going to show you how to do this. And how we do this is through what we call a pirate radio collaboration. You see, when pirate radio existed and when it started out, they didn't have ways to get tons of people out there. So what they did was they banded together in order to promote their content. So the strategy was they would go out and they would have 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes even 8 of these pirate radio stations. And when a new pirate radio station was launching, they would all stream on air and talk about that new pirate radio. Hey guys, this is Pirate Radio FM. We've got our brother station, Pirate Radio I don't know, AM that's launching over on this left-hand side, you guys should go and check them out. And this simple approach was absolutely incredible because what they were able to do was leverage other people's existing audiences to go and get themselves into the chart position. And this is exactly what we do with our podcast launches. Instead of you going out and saying, okay, how am I going to do this? What we do is we go and leverage the audiences from existing influencers and entrepreneurs. So you can go out there and interview between 5 and 8 people, and they only need to be short 10-minute launch episodes that you can do. And what you're then able to do is get them to promote those episodes to their audiences. So suddenly what you have is, in a very short space of time, you've got 5 to 8 different people's audiences all pointing towards your brand new or relaunch podcast. And what that does is it immediately launches you right up into those top chart positions. So you don't have to have an audience. You don't have to have traffic. You can simply leverage the attention of other people's audiences to get you in front and to get you up into that chart position. Because you see, becoming a top 200 podcaster, it's kind of like becoming a #1 best-selling author. You're able to go out and get that immediate authority and then leverage that authority in the following weeks and following months. And the truth is, I'll be honest with you guys, most people, they completely mess this up, right? They go out and they launch with a couple episodes. They don't ask the people they interview to actually promote it to their audiences. And they have a really hard time with this, right? They have a really tough time having success. But what I want to share with you guys is the secret behind how the ranking works, so you can understand what you need to do to have success. You see, your rank in the top 200 is determined by a few factors. And these 3 factors are the things that we found that make the biggest difference for you to have that success and get into the charts. Now, there's lots of arguments online about what really counts and what doesn't. All I know is that every single time when our students go through and do exactly what we're saying right here, they're able to get into that chart position literally almost 100% of the time, right? And what I want you guys to understand is that this is within your reach. It's very, very simple to do. All you need to do is go and get those 5 or 8 different people, get them on your show. And what you're looking to do in those first 48 hours is to get your subscriber count, your download count, and your reviews as high as possible. This is what determines your rank into the top 200. So if you can get a lot of subscribers and a lot of downloads and a lot of reviews in a very short space of time, then that's going to get you into that top 200 position. And when you do that, once you get into the top 200, that's where the magic really starts to happen. That's where I get really excited, because that's where people start to make real relationships and they start to actually unlock the next level of their business. Getting into the top 200 gives you huge, massive credibility. I can't emphasize this enough. It's literally like you winning an Oscar, right? You can go around and you can talk about that Oscar for the rest of your life if you want to, because you earned it. You got into that position and you're able to unlock that credibility. And what that does for you is it gives you access to whoever you want, and it gives you huge opportunities in the forms of partnerships and closing new customers. And like I said, this doesn't take long. This takes literally 48 hours. And like I said, you don't need to have an existing audience to make this work. And this is why we say this is a new way and a better way. And this is exactly what we teach inside of the Podcast Profit Lab program of how to do this. And we make this even easier by helping you guys understand something we call a collaboration launch strategy. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. And this here is Ron. And this is exactly what it's like, right? When you get started in the beginning of this program, and when you're going through this process of launching your show in the first 28 days, day 1, you feel like this new found small child coming into this world. And day 28, you're like, oh my gosh, I am like a seasoned old man with all the knowledge that I've got right now. So what I want you guys to take away from this secret number 1 is that you can, no matter your background, no matter your experience, get into the top 200. All you need to do is leverage other people's audiences to get you into that spot, and you can automatically unlock that top chart position. But what about once you get there? What about once you get that top 200 position, right? It sounds sexy, it sounds exciting, but what then? How do I actually get paid in my business, right? How many of you guys, that's the thing you're the most interested in, right? If you're the most interested in the getting paid part, just give me like some cash emojis down below right now so I know who you guys are like interested in that. Because secret number 2 is really something that I'm the most well known for in the online space, and it's podcast closing, how to generate sales immediately with your podcast without actually ever having to sell to your audience. And the secret here, guys, is the secret to success is something that I like to call trust, right? And lots of people call it trust because it's very easy to create. Zig Ziglar said, if people like you, they'll listen to you, but if they trust you, then they'll do business with you. And what we're trying to do here, guys, is get you to understand how powerful getting one person to trust you can be. If you go out and you try and podcast the old way, you can try and get 1,000 people to trust you, get 1,000 downloads and make $20, or you can get one person to trust you and make $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, or $10,000 in revenue. I don't know about you guys, but getting one person to trust me is a whole lot easier. Now, when we started our podcast, we did what everybody else was telling us to do. We went out and we said, okay, we're going to get into the new and noteworthy because we thought that's what all the good people did. We went out and we went and published like crazy. I was publishing on Facebook every day. I was emailing my list. I was promoting to my audience, recording episodes, editing episodes to make them sound awesome. I legit felt like this poor lady face down on the couch, right? It was overwhelming. And I just felt like there was no way that I could figure it out. And 2 months later, we were at this position where we weren't making any money. Me and Gina were actually in Bali at the time. We were inside of this $2,500 a month coaching program. And it was literally like tumbleweed. We had no customers coming in whatsoever. And I had no idea on how I could make this work. I knew podcasting was the answer, but I didn't know how at that point. And I even went online, like I Googled, I was like, hey, how long does it take to make money podcasting? And I got messages like this saying, hey, you need to get 3,000 to 5,000 listeners before you can make any money. And like at that time, I was getting like 100 or 200 listeners. Like I didn't have those large numbers. And I just want to take a second here and let you guys know, in 2018, I invested a total of $1,997 in myself, and I made $25,000. In 2019, I invested $30,000 in the coaching program, and we hit 250K in revenue. 2020 so far, we spent over $70,000 on coaching, and we're on track to do over $500,000. This right here, this was what gave me the breakthrough. And I think it's super important to recognize that investing in yourself and surrounding yourself with people who are doing exactly what you want to do, that was the thing that helped me break through. You see, at the time, I was actually going out and I was cold calling dentists. And maybe some of you guys have been here, maybe you haven't, but like, I don't know if you know, but most dentists and orthodontists, they're like 50, 60-year-old dudes who like are just getting ready for retirement. And I was this young, scrappy marketer in my 20s who was like talking to them about leads and getting excited. And I was cold calling these people every single day and nobody was saying yes. They just didn't trust me. There was no trust there. It was like I was a completely different person to who they were, and they couldn't actually connect with me. And we were inside of the 2 Comma Club X program. We were trying to make sure that these bills were getting paid. And even though I was trying to sell to these, dentists online, I said, screw this. Like, my people are entrepreneurs. So I started interviewing entrepreneurs on my podcast. And something really interesting happened because I was just like the people I was interviewing. This trust just started to be built really, really fast. Like, it wasn't like it was with the dentist. Like, they were actually having conversations. They were listening to what I was saying. They were trusting what I was putting out there. And then one day I had this one interview and it completely changed my entire perspective. I'd been on this podcast interview with this guy and he actually rung me back up and he said, hey, Jamie, I know on the podcast we talked about funnels and design and stuff like that. I wondered if I could get back on a call with you. I was like, okay, cool. Like, that sounds kind of interesting. And we got on this 20-minute call. And at the end of this 20-minute phone call, he wired me $2,000 via PayPal. And I was like freaking out here in the background. I was doing this whole like, oh my God, like what just happened? Like, how did that happen? And what happened was I had done a podcast interview with somebody. We had built this trust and relationship. And then on the back end, they hired me for something that they knew I could do. And this was really cool because I did it completely by accident. But then I started to think, well, what if I did this intentionally? What if I could do this on purpose? What if I could go out and interview people who I wanted to work with and find a way to build a genuine relationship and genuine trust, get them to invest in me and give me money? And what was kind of crazy is we went out and the next month I challenged myself to do just that. I ditched all the agency. I ditched speaking to dentists. And I said, I'm just going to go all in with a podcast. And we had the same download numbers on our podcast. And I was speaking to these entrepreneurs and it didn't feel like the high pressure sales calls I've been doing before with the dentists. These people were happy to have a conversation. They were actually excited to talk to me. And honestly, when I offered to help them, they were really, really grateful that I solved their problem. You see, with podcast closing, what we do is we sell to the guests, not to the audience. So suddenly I had an access and an opportunity to go and interview my dream customers, build a relationship, and then sell them my offer on the back end. You see, podcast closing, it's kind of like dating, right? If you think about traditional dating, I don't know about you guys, before Tinder, this was back when I was dating, before I got with Gina, if you wanted to go and date somebody, you wouldn't stand in the middle of the street on a soapbox and scream at the top of your voice saying, hey, I'm amazing, come and date me, right? You just wouldn't say that, right? So what do you do if you want to go on a date with someone? Well, first of all, you invite them on a date. Hey, want to come on a date with me, right? And it's exactly the same with a podcast. Hey, want to come and do a podcast interview with me? What else do you do? The second thing you do on a date is you don't just go in there and say, hey, want to go on a second date right off the blue, right? You don't do that. What do? You go in, you build a rapport, you ask questions, you build that relationship. And it's the same with a podcast. You don't go in and make them an offer right away. You build that relationship, you build that rapport. And then at the end of the date, once you have that rapport and once you've asked them those questions, then you make the offer. Then you say, hey, let's go on a second date. And just like this with podcasting, you're going to make them an offer to work together at the end of the interview, after you're done. You see, this three-part process to podcast closing is actually very, very simple. All you need to do is invite your dream customer on your podcast, you interview them to build a relationship, and then you make them an offer at the end of the show. Very, very simple. So step one, go and find your dream customer to podcast close and ask them to come on your show. We have 80% of people currently who say yes to coming on interviews because of the methods we use, and they are going to want to come on your show because it's going to increase their status, and you're going to want to go out and invite your dream prospects, people you really want to work with. So if you're an online marketer and you want to sell to dentists, don't interview other marketers. Go and interview dentists, the people you actually want to sell. Because podcast closing, what it gives you is easy access. See, if you're cold calling, cold emailing, cold outreaching, you're doing things on Facebook, you're sending messages, it's really tough, guys. Like when I was cold calling, we would get 5% of the people that we spoke to onto a sales call. 5% would book an appointment. And then 1 of every 10 of those people would actually close into a sale. That meant a ton of calls, a ton of time, and not many sales. And even when we did sell them, they didn't end up staying because they usually didn't trust us. With the podcast, we have 80% of people who say yes to getting on that call and building that relationship. And then when we make them the offer on the back end, 25 to 50% of people close. We actually, one of our students, Brent, who's inside of our program, he actually has a 95% success rate with closing people on his podcast. He's built amazing partnerships. He's actually been able to generate $51,000 in recurring revenue just through podcast partnerships he's done using this method. So once you've actually invited this person on the show, so step one, invite them. Ask your dream prospect to come on your show and do an interview. Doesn't matter if your show doesn't exist yet, just invite them on. Step two, do the interview, right? Build that connection, build that trust with them. Learn about their pain points, learn about their goals. It gives you the opportunity to go really deep. You guys can get super emotional with your prospects without any friction that you would have in a normal sales situation, right? How many of you guys have experienced that, right? Friction on sales calls. When you interview your dream customer, you're not going to get that. These people are going to open up and they're going to want to talk to you, and that trust is going to start being built. And then step number three is just to make them an offer. And so many people get so overwhelmed and so confused about step three, but it's actually really simple. All you do is after the interview is finished, you ask them if you would like help with what you do. Ask them if they want to talk about it. It's very, very simple. But just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. A lot of you guys need help walking through this process. So all you guys have to do is just speak to your dream customer. That's it. And here's what's awesome. Once you start speaking to your dream customer, the more authority you have, the easier this is going to get. And launching into the top 200 with your podcast, that's what makes this process so simple, because you can immediately start to get access to these amazing people. And again, it doesn't take long, guys. Like you can do this within 48 hours. You see, podcast closing is the easy way. You don't need traffic. You don't need an email list. All you need is the podcast platform. And most experts, they're going to tell you to do it the hard way. But you guys, you get to cheat and do it the easy way, because the hard way, this is what most people are told to do, right? Get tens of thousands of downloads, promote on social media all the time, write emails, create graphics, create videos, get your show sponsored for like $20 every 1,000 downloads, run some ads, promote to your audience, wait 6 to 12 months. And honestly, that's just exhausting. I don't have time to do all of that stuff, and it isn't going to get me paid. And if you've been struggling, this is probably why. The facts are the average podcaster only does 7 episodes before quitting. 90% of people quit and they don't make it past 3 months. And the reason why they do this is simple. They don't know how to make money. If I said to you, just go out and do something for 12 months, go and publish on your podcast for the next 12 months, but I'm not going to tell you how to make money. After 2, 3, 4 months, you guys are going to start seeing that nothing's happening and you're going to give up and do something different. Instead, I want to give you the keys to the kingdom. I want to give you the strategies so that you know exactly how you're going to get paid. Because if I know how to get paid, I'm going to go and do that right away. With podcast closing, you don't need to do any of that other stuff. No crazy publishing, no chasing thousands of downloads, no spending 20 hours a week just promoting your show. If you want to do it the hard way, to make $1,000 a month, you need 50,000 downloads. If you're publishing once a week, that's 12,500 people who have 100% click-through rate. I don't know about you guys, but even if I had 100,000 people on my email list, I know that I would struggle to get 10% of those people to go and click on my episodes every month. So using podcast closing, we've been able to help our students literally make thousands before their shows even launched. We call these people change makers. They're really badass and they're making massive change. Here's 3 of them right now who've been able to go out and have incredible results. You have Corey. He was able to actually go out and he did 78K within 3 months. He actually was furloughed in his job. This was right at the beginning of COVID, went all in with his podcast, and now he doesn't have to go back to his job anymore. You got Susan. She's made over $30,000 with her podcast just from launching and doing her show, doing exactly what I'm talking about with you guys right now. She actually just passed over into $10,000 a month inside of her agency, and now she gets to spend a lot more time with the kids and her family. You also got people like Lizanne Murphy, right? She made $5,000 in her podcast launch. She hit number 18 in the charts. She grew her email list 8 times over and doubled her Facebook group in the first 30 days. But she, if you look at it now, is one of the go-to authorities for Facebook advertising. And see, the big secret here, guys, is using podcast interviews. You get to instantly connect with your dream customers, gain their trust, and then sell to them using the podcast as a platform. And what I want to remind you guys, and I love this quote by Laurie Richardson here, selling is really about having conversations with people, helping improve their company or their life. And if you look at it like that, selling is honestly quite an admirable thing to do, right? It's not sleazy, it's not overwhelming. And it doesn't matter what kind of business you guys have. If you're an agency, info product, e-com, coach, consultant, course creator, affiliate marketer in B2B, maybe if you're just getting started. Like, you guys can do this and you can use podcast closing. I'm going to walk you through how it works for each of these businesses right now. And if, by the way, guys, if you don't see your business in here when I'm laying this out here, let me know in the comments and I'll give you an example. So what if you're an agency or a freelancer? This is Matt Decino. He actually had a podcast he launched called Epic Owners. He went and interviewed nearly 50 people before his podcast even launched. And he sells a $1,500 to a $3,000 a month Facebook ad service. What did he do? He interviewed Epic Owners, he built up trust with them, and then he said, hey, I can actually help you to make money via Facebook ads. Do you want to have a conversation about it? Was able to close his deals. Susan, same thing, an agency. She sells $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month funnel building services. She invites people on her show. She actually interviews these experts, builds status, builds that trust, and then she makes them an offer on the back end. Hey, we should work together. We should actually form a partnership, right? Sierra has a credit repair company. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second, Sierra. So if you work B2B, you could interview your dream customer directly and sell to them, right? Sierra, do you work in a B2B? Do you sell to other businesses, or do you sell to people individually, B2C? So if you're B2C, you can go out and build partnerships with people who have your dream customers in their audience. Sierra, if you have a credit repair company, you can go and interview people who have Facebook groups, YouTube channels, podcast channels, email lists, full of your dream customers. You can build up a relationship with that person on the podcast, and you can say, hey, you probably have people inside of your audience who need what I have. Let's partner up on it and let's put it out in front of that. And that's actually how we grow our business. Reem actually sells a high ticket service. So she sells a $10,000 to a $30,000 package. She interviews exactly who she wants to sell it to. She builds trust. And because it's all about the relationship, she's able to go and make those sales. But what if you sell a low ticket product, right? I sell something that's super cheap. Cherie, she sells B2C. She sells a low ticket $27 toothbrush box, and she sells it to people who just need to look after their mouths, young kids. So what does she do? She goes and interviews dentist offices because they have the audience of her dream customer. She goes and interviews dental practices. She builds a relationship, and then she makes a partnership with them. They go and sell her box to her customers. She gives them a kickback, and she's able to generate massive revenue. We do this with a low ticket info product, right? We were able to go out and go onto ClickBank, and we were able to look through the list of all of the most powerful affiliates in ClickBank. We said, who is selling something that's just like our product? And inside of ClickBank, they have a list of the top 20 people who are selling that product. Guess what we did? We went and interviewed those top 20 affiliates. We built that relationship with them, and we said, hey, you're an amazing affiliate marketer. You're already selling a product just like mine. Do you want to sell my product as well? And we can do you this commission rate. And you're able to go and build those relationships and build those partnerships because you have the access, because of the podcast. If you're an e-com, I have a friend who sells a vegan supplement online. He went out and interviewed blog owners. He went and interviewed 20 or 10, sorry, I think it was about 11 vegan blogs. And then he said, hey, I noticed you don't sell a product. We have a vegan product. Do you want to sell it on your blog, right? Very, very easy to build those partnerships. What about a coach or a consultant? You have Jennifer here. She runs a company called Natural Wellness Tips. She has a Facebook group. She actually invites people from her Facebook group. She builds a relationship on the podcast, and then she makes them an offer to come into her program. What if you're a speaker? You can do this to get on stages, go and interview the event organizers, build a relationship, and make them an offer. I would love to come and speak on your stage. You can even use podcast hosting to get stuff for free, guys. This is Brendan. He went out there and he said, oh, I need some PR services right now. So what did he do? He said, I'm going to go and interview some PR agencies. He interviewed 4 or 5 PR agencies. And he said, hey, if you can give me your PR service for free, I can build a funnel for you for free. And he was able to get $10,000 worth of PR services just by trading what he did. So guys, I want you to understand here, podcast closing, it's all about the relationships and making offers. And if you're thinking right now, Jamie, this won't work for me. My business is different. Like, comment down below right now, because I'm going to tell you this works in every single business. You are either selling and making an offer directly to your customer on the interview, or you're building a relationship and a partnership with someone that has your dream customer in their audience. So hopefully you guys can now see kind of how amazing this is. We've literally helped people in the last 12 months make over $6 million just using this strategy. And I want you guys to be able to use it too. And you guys, if you do this right away, you can actually be making money by the weekend. And then you guys can all become official change makers and hang out with me and Gina in Costa Rica. Sound fun? Okay, secret number 3, the 3-hour work week. This is really important because the number one thing that people say to me when I say, what do you want in your business? They don't say, I want to be working 100 hours a week and never see my kids and work every weekend. What do they say? They say, I want more freedom. And just like we went to the beach this morning to hang out with the turtles and we're able to come back and do our business, you know, in the afternoon, I want to show you guys how you can actually launch a podcast and just do it in a couple of hours a week, and how you can make sure that you can actually get paid at the same time, right? Colin's saying, I have an idea of opening an educational platform, right? Any platform that you want to do with your podcast is totally fine. You could go and interview people who would be a good fit for your platform, who would actually want to come in and build a partnership with them, right? People who have your dream customers. So you guys know Gary Vee, right? So why am I talking about Gary Vee? Well, if you went up to Gary Vee and you said, hey, Gary, I know you do all of this amazing content. Would it be cool if I came down to the podcast studio and actually just borrowed D-Rock and came and recorded my content? What do you think he would say? No, he would say, get out of here. There's no way you're going to do that, right? But Gary Vee has that amazing content team, but he preaches something which is the opposite of what I believe in. And it's this hustle mentality. And what I want you guys to understand is that you can actually go out and create a team just like Gary Vee does for very, very, very low costs, so that you can start focusing on the opposite of hustling. You see, what I want to introduce you guys to is this idea of something called exponential income. You see, most people's income, it's linear. If I work more hours or if I slowly charge more money, I'm going to start getting paid more money. But what I want to show you guys is how you can unlock exponential income. Exponential income is something that has a small input that gives you a massive time result. For example, if you did a 1 hour interview with somebody and you were able to get a $30,000 partnership out of it, that is something that I call exponential income. But before we do that, how many of you guys would love it if I could help you get your very first podcast guest literally right now while we're here on the live with Kim? Would that be cool? Give me like a laughing emoji face down below, or actually just give me your favorite emoji if you would like me to show that, because what I want to do is I want to give you guys a very, very simple script that you guys can use to go and land your very first podcast guest right now. And if you do what I'm telling you inside of this training, you might actually be able to close them as a customer as well. Would that be cool? Would you guys be down for that? So let me show you how to do this. Here's how to go and land your very first guest right now. All you need to do is pull your phone up, keep this obviously playing so I can talk you guys through this. Don't disappear, but pull your phone up right now, go onto your Facebook profile, and I want you to type this in. And I want you guys to do this with me here while we're here on the live. Kim, you should do this as well. Everybody should do this. Go to your profile and say, I'm about to launch my new podcast. I'm looking for rockstar experts to interview. We need some amazing rockstar guests. Comment below if you want it. Now, in that blank spot that you can see on the screen, what I want you guys to type is whoever your dream customer is. If you want to work with more coaches, if you want to work with health experts, if you want to work with YouTube experts, local business owners, dentists, whatever that is, write that in. I'm looking for dentists to interview. We need some rockstar guests. I'm looking for course creators to interview. We need some rockstar guests. And what this is going to do, this is a post we did. It got over 600 comments with people commenting. This is going to, first of all, get massive amounts of people so you can go and interview them on your podcast. And what it's also going to give you is opportunities to sell to these customers. I had some of my students, and if somebody from my team, maybe Gina, if you could just copy this script and drop it into the comments for everybody, just to make it a little bit easier to go out and actually promote this. What you can do here is very, very simple. You can get 20, 30, 50, 60 people commenting on this post, and it's going to bring out your dream customers, and you're going to be able to get on a podcast interview. And using what we're talking about today, you can go and close them using the podcast closing that we're talking about. And this is people that have done this. We had Susan go out there. She got 6 people invited to be guests on a podcast. 3 came back to us so far with a yes. She had no no's. Tim said he actually sent out 20 invites. He got 1 interview that he really wanted and 4 other interviews confirmed right out of the gate. And the guys, the secret here is if you can just go and do this, you can immediately start to be podcast closing and getting people interested in your podcast launch. Now, before I was doing the 3-hour work week, I want you guys to understand how crazy my podcast was and how crazy my life was. I was editing my own show. I was spending probably 10 to 15 hours a week doing that, just editing it, making it look pretty. And I was super frustrated because I was doing this all by myself. I was putting it online. I was editing everything. I was writing the emails. I was promoting it, all of that stuff. And then all I did was hire an online VA. And guys, this is really powerful. You can go online and for $2 to $5 an hour, you can buy back your time. And what I mean by this is that I went and hired a VA and I paid for 20 hours of their time, right? 20 hours. That's the time I was spending editing and posting and putting this stuff online. And it cost me $60. And with that $60, I was able to go out and use that 20 hours and I went and did a bunch of interviews. And on the back end of doing those interviews, I think I did like 3 or 4 interviews. I did about 3 or 4 hours and I probably spent the rest of those 20 hours just hanging out by the pool. But I closed 2 more $1,000 deals from those podcasts. And I'm sharing this for a really important reason. Wealth, guys, is measured in time. It's not measured in money because you can buy back. You can earn more money, but you can't earn more time. So what I want to show you here is how many of you guys think that's worth doing? How many of you guys would pay $60 so that you could go and do a couple of interviews and make $2,000 back? Would that be worth that investment to you? Because for me, it was a game changer because it was all about understanding that it's not about me doing it and learning how to do it. It's about the who, not the how. You guys don't need to learn podcast editing. You guys don't need to learn how to publish. You guys don't need to learn how to put stuff out there. All you need to do is focus on the monetization. If you just do what I've told you in this interview, in this process, and you just interview people, build a relationship, and then make them an offer for a partnership or to work directly with you, then you can do nothing with your podcast. You can just sit back. We do about an hour to 2 hours a week with our podcast right now. We are making money all the time from the relationships and the sales that we make with it. So everything that you might think that you need to do with a podcast, you can just hire that stuff out. You don't need to do any of this stuff. So all that we do now is we just record the episodes, boom, we're done. So a lot of you guys have probably heard, okay, you need a VA, but some of you guys have struggled to be able to do this. And, you know, I want to be able to help you guys to do this as best as possible. And we're going to give you some of our behind the scenes strategies of how we're doing this inside of our program if you guys are involved. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to focus on the part of podcasting that gives you the exponential result. Don't spend 20 hours editing your show. Spend time doing the thing that's going to get you paid, inviting your dream customer, building a relationship, and then making them that win-win offer. You see, exponential income is all about small input equals big results. If you just spend 3 hours a week on your podcast, and in those 3 hours, you do just 3 interviews, and if just one of those interviews turns into a customer because of podcast closing, that would be 4 deals a month. Let me know down below right now, guys. If you closed 4 deals, 4 partnerships, 4 whatever thing you want to sell, how much would 4 deals a month be worth to you? Let me know down in the comments right now. I'm super curious. 4 deals a month to me, if it's partnership deals, could be worth $50,000 a month. If it was just sales, me selling a $5,000 program, it'd be worth $20,000, right? That's a lot of money every single month from just hanging out with people on a podcast for 3 hours a week. So all you guys need to do is just speak to your dream prospects and then use podcast closing, right? So right now, hopefully you guys have got a pen and paper handy. Just take a second and write down, what would it be worth to you if you could just close 1 retainer client, 1 more coaching client, 1 more course sale, 1 more partnership? What would that be worth to you? What would you be able to do with all of that extra time that you would gain back from doing this? So pulling this all together, guys, if you followed what I said in secret number 1 and you went into a group and you actually leveraged and launched your podcast into the top 200 so you could easily launch your show and gain more influence. And then if you covered what I said in secret number 2 and you load up your schedule with dream customers who are a perfect fit for your business. And if you followed what I said in secret number 3 and outsource all the simple stuff to a VA so you can spend more time just doing the interviews and making offers, the stuff that's actually
Hey, Jamie, your sound is off. You move your microphone or something. I don't hear you. Yeah, I don't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, perfect.
Now
Sorry about that,
I
guys.
can hear you very clearly.
That was definitely not a fun thing to happen halfway through the stream, right? But if you did just all 3 of these things, do you think maybe you guys could pull this off? Well, I think so. So these 3 secrets, I want you guys to understand. These 3 secrets are very, very simple to implement. All you need to do is leverage a couple other entrepreneurs to help you launch into the top 200 of the show. Secret number 2 is how you can start interviewing people and closing them on your offers. And secret number 3, outsource the rest of it so you can just be a lazy marketer like me, hang out at the beach and get paid every day to just hang out with people on your podcast. That sound cool? So let me ask you guys, we've been going for a little over an hour now. I always like to try and make sure I'm giving as much value as possible and really giving you guys everything you believe. And look, there's going to be some of you guys who can take everything that we've just talked in the last hour, and you're going to be able to take that, go and implement it. And listen, maybe some of you guys are going to have success. And that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to go and launch this podcast knowing that you're going to be able to get these results. And if you can just follow what we're talking about here, I know that you guys are going to have success. But the problem that most people have in everything out there is that most of you guys, you don't need more information. You don't just need another course. You guys need help actually being able to go and do this. You need help and guidance so that you're actually held accountable, so that you actually launch this podcast. And you probably want to be able to get the inside knowledge, right? With all that we've been able to do in the last 12 months, having over 250 people launch inside of our program and join our program and actually helping generate nearly $6 million. There's a lot that I want to share with you guys that we just don't have time to go through today. So I'm literally just going to take a couple more minutes if it's okay with you guys. And is it okay if I just take a couple of seconds and just walk you through a special offer that me and Kim put together for you guys today? Because I want to get you guys coming in and joining our Podcast Profit Lab program, because I know if you join this program that we're going to be able to help you to take the steps that we've talked about today and start adding more revenue back into your business. So is that cool with you guys? Because I would love to run through it. I've actually put together a completely unique offer just for you guys today, because you're inside of Kim's community and you are Kim's customers. I wanted to make something super special. So let me guys talk to you guys about this. Let me talk to you about the Podcast Profit Lab. So what you guys are going to get when you invest in the 28-day Podcast Profit Lab today is the first thing you're going to get is the 28-day Podcast Profit Lab. Funny, right? We're going to show you how to launch your new or existing podcast into the top 200 charts profitably in 28 days. We're going to walk you through a step-by-step approach for launching a chart-topping podcast that outsells your competition, allows you to sell to your dream customers in the first 28 days, positions you as the expert to your customers, and it's easier, quicker, and more enjoyable to create than you ever thought possible. So we're going to walk you through this step-by-step. We're going to give you a full online training experience that'll hold your hand and walk you through the simple and clear steps to launch your podcast into the top 200 charts, whether it's a new show or an existing one. We're going to walk you from podcast idea to launching your show, even if you have no audience, so you can instantly gain authority and recognition. Each session is structured in a way so you can automatically turn your ideas into implementation in real time. So I don't want you guys walking away with a bunch of notes. You're going to leave with a podcast that's going to change the world. And you're going to be surrounded by 200 plus top 200 podcasters, ranging from beginners to seasoned pros to seven-figure business owners. So we can help you within this community to encourage each other to actually go out and make a difference. And you're going to discover the weird podcast reversal approach that we use to create your podcast outline in a different way to 99% of what people are doing with podcasting right now. So you can start to automatically attract your dream customers, both as guests and listeners, and position yourself as the automatic authority. Now, anytime a great opportunity presents itself to you guys, you're going to know that your podcast can be just the thing for building a relationship and presenting an offer. You're going to jump in with action and joy, knowing that you're going to be able to promote and have that power to impact your audience and dramatically impact your bottom line. Brendan, in going through this process, he was able to launch into the top 100. And within the first 30 days, he was interviewing countless 2 Comma Club winners, increasing his authority. And he's closed over $25,000 worth of sales just in those first 30 days. So the first thing you guys are going to get is the whole Podcast Profit Lab experience, total value $1,997. So you can launch your new or existing podcast into the charts. But I also want to tell you guys how to do podcast closing in depth. I want to show you the secrets of $6 million plus in podcast sales. We're going to walk you step by step through the podcast closing formula so you can instantly learn how to close your prospects on your podcast interviews, how to pre-sell your guests on partnerships, position yourself as the expert on your podcast, and learn how to sell high-ticket offers in a simple and easy way that doesn't feel salesy. So you guys can discover how to position your podcast to attract these high-quality, high-paying clients as guests so you can build a relationship and build your product. You're also going to be able to use the podcast closing framework to sell your dream audience even before your podcast launch. So you can immediately start to pay back your investment, even if you haven't launched the podcast yet. And you're going to discover something we call the You Ask Me questions, which get your prospects coming to you, asking about your product, so you can turn every conversation into an inbound lead. And just imagine how good it might feel knowing that you're going to have 5, 10 podcast interviews on your calendar, knowing that they're money-making opportunities, right? You're actually going to be able to go and make sales. You'll jump headfirst into publishing and interviewing. And just like Sarin here, a lot of people say, Jamie, does that mean I have to wait 28 days before I'm going to get paid, right? You don't have to. Sarin right here, she actually made $3,000 after just completing the program. And this was 2 weeks before she even launched her podcast. So if you're worrying, Jamie, is it that I have to wait until I launch in a month to make any don't worry, you can actually start making sales immediately. You can start interviewing right now and you can close even faster. So I'm going to give you the Podcast Profit Lab and Podcast Closing Secrets, total value $3,997. But I also want to show you guys how to actually launch your products and offers with your podcast to be able to make more sales. So we're going to give you guys something called the Offer Launch Blueprint System. This is the launch system responsible for over $300,000 of sales in our own business. And you can implement this in 3 to 5 days. It's a very simple framework and system for building massive rapport, generating hundreds of new leads and prospects, and you can outsell traditional webinars and encourage your customers to take massive action. If you've ever done an online challenge or seen an online challenge, this is like a challenge on steroids. It's incredible. And the 5-day launch framework to hit your next 7 figures, you can actually discover why experts like Brendan Burchard, Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, they're ditching regular webinars in favor of these hybrid 5-day launch frameworks. And I'm going to show you how to do this with your podcast. We're also going to show you a simple 3 or 5 day framework to shift the beliefs of your audience through value-based experiences so you can expand your network and sell out your next offer. And you can actually use these frameworks for your podcast. You can also use them in a Facebook group, or you can combine the two to increase your audience and create a repeatable system. This is what we teach all of our students to build their 6-figure business, is to follow this framework. And once you've implemented just these simple 3 or 5 day frameworks, you're going to have this nice, simple system that you can turn podcast listeners into repeat customers. And just know, when you do this, it feels amazing knowing that your podcast isn't just there to gather downloads, but it's actually bringing customers into your business. Sam, he did this. He did a 3-episode series for couples learning how to communicate. He had over 500 people consume the content, 60% actually registered. He ended up selling $5,000 of his program through just following this simple system. So when you guys sign up today, we're going to give you the Podcast Profit Lab system, Podcast Closing Secrets, and the Offer Launch Blueprint system, total value $5,997. But what if I could give you a simple system to go and take those people who you have just got lined up on your Facebook profile right now and actually get them to say yes to becoming a podcast guest? How do you go through that? Well, we actually created a bonus for you guys called the High Profile Guest Outreach Masterclass. And it's all of the scripts, and it's how you can land those 7-figure CEOs, industry titans, just how Reem got people like Elena Cardone and these next level influencers, and how you can get them on your podcast. So whether you want to use all of these 9 strategies, or whether you just want to use our simple 3-sentence takeaway that gets 80% of people saying yes to becoming a dream customer, you're going to walk away with the exact knowledge on how to land endless guests onto your podcast in less than 25 minutes. And guys, just this one takeaway sentence that you can put at the end of every request, that's going to double acceptance rates for people saying yes to coming on your show. And you can save yourself the worry of spending like $1,000 a month or more on a podcast PR agency, because you're going to be able to get the same results and even better in just a few minutes a day. And you can use these simple scripts to line up customers in your business day in, day out. And it's going to increase your authority, boost your bottom line, and it's going to open up these amazing partnership experiences. So imagine what it's going to be like when you can just go out there and land every single one of your Dream 100. All of these people that you've looked up to for years. Imagine how good it's going to be seeing those role models actually see you as peers on your podcast, right? Knowing that these people are incredible entrepreneurs, but they're willing to come onto your show, right? Lori went through this process, and even as a single mom in the middle of a house move juggling 3 kids, she was able to launch into the top 200. And if she can do it with the time she had, you guys can do it too. So you guys are going to get the Podcast Profit Lab, Podcast Closing Secrets, the Offer Launch Blueprint System, and our High Profile Guest Outreach Masterclass and scripts. Total value is $6,997. But I also want to make this really easy. I don't want you guys to have to lift a finger. I want you guys to be able to have access to everything to create everything you need for your podcast. So we're also going to give you the worksheets, the checklists, the systems, and all of the templates, everything you need to create, manage, and run your podcast already done for you. So we didn't want to let you struggle with this. So we're just going to give you everything, okay? We're going to give you access to all of our done for you worksheets, all of the checklists, the systems that we use within our team to manage our podcast, and all of the graphic templates and all of the templates you need for creating your assets, for managing your podcast, for editing your episodes, and scheduling your interviews. We're just going to give it away to you. So you'll gain access to all of our graphic templates, including cover photo designs, guest graphics, podcast cover artwork, and even customizable publicity sheets. That's what you guys can see on the bottom here. so you can have everything you need to look like a rock star guest. You're also going to unlock our $3,000 podcast management system. I actually paid somebody, a systems person, $3,000 to build me a full Trello system. And we developed this just specifically for our podcast so that we didn't have to ever worry about what was coming up in our podcast schedule. And you guys are going to get that just for free. We just give it away to you guys. And you're also going to get our step-by-step worksheets and checklists, so you know exactly what the MVP is for you to be able to get your podcast launch out there. And then if you want to get extra stuff inside of there, then you guys can go and do that and take it to the next level. Just think how awesome it's going to be just to have all of those assets just a few clicks away, right? These assets that you're going to be able to create, they're going to be powerful tools to bring more people into your podcast launch. Now, finally, this entire offer of everything that we're going to give you here, the Podcast Profit Lab, podcast closing secrets, the offer launch blueprint system, the high profile guest outreach masterclass and scripts, and the worksheets, checklists, systems, and templates. We wanted to make sure that you guys had this because honestly, as you can see, you know, this stuff has generated millions of dollars for our clients, and probably any sane, rational entrepreneur, like they would easily put $25,000 for this today. And even if it meant you were going to get $100,000 or more in the future, most sane people would pay $25K for that, right? For many people, $25K would be an easy decision to get started with Podcast Profit Lab. We have people within Russell Brunson's 2 Comma Club X. They paid $25K just to get a portion of what we've discussed here. And that's Russell Brunson's highest level program. And if you've seen already that we've been able to help people generate over $6 million in sales from just our 200 or so students in the last 12 months, if I were actually to price this for what it's truly worth, I would have no issue asking you guys to invest $25K in the Podcast Profit Lab right here and right now. Now, even though $25K for this can probably be justified, I'm honestly in the business of making offers so stupidly favorable to my customers' advantage that it's kind of mad. So even though people happily pay me $24K a year just to walk them through this process, and they're happy to do that because they know just one connection is worth many times what that $24K costs, you guys aren't going to pay that today. And how many more connections do you think that you can make when you start interviewing these high profile business owners, right? Even half of that should be straight up that you're going to get at the better end of the deal here. But even just to sit down and close one single high ticket sale a month, something easily done with just one part of this offer that we've got here, that's going to bring you in considerably more. That's going to bring you in $12,000 across the year. And that's if you undercharged and sold it for half the price of what we teach in this program. But we can do better, right? Even at $12,000, this is still a steal, but you guys aren't going to pay that. Even if we just did a single podcast business intensive, this is a product we do where we map out how to create your perfect podcast launch plan. That's $5,000 for just 3 hours. So therefore, for me, it makes total sense for me to offer the Podcast Profit Lab for a one-time investment of just $2,500 for the ability to create more than that each and every time that you guys use podcast closing in your business. But better still, I've decided to reward those of you guys who act boldly and immediately because you guys are awesome. Kim's community is awesome. And you guys are the kind of people that I want to do business with. So if you guys sign up before Sunday, you're not going to pay $2,500, which is truly, honestly, such a good price. It's mind-blowing. You're going to be able to get access to everything that makes up this wonderful program that we call the Podcast Profit Lab for, get this, just $997 when you go to the link right here. And even better than that, most people, if they feel like, you know what, $997, that sounds awesome, but actually I want to do a payment plan, we actually can do in-house financing, and we can do 3 payments of $397. And all you guys need to do to get this offer is to go to myultimatebonus.com/Kim. But we're not done there. I wanted to make sure that we were going to give you guys an absolutely insane offer. So I went to my team and I said, what is one of the things that I can give to everybody in Kim's community that's just going to take everything, all of this goodness in the Podcast Profit Lab and take it to the next level? So if you've been in my world for a little bit of time, you'll know that there's one thing along podcasting that I'm obsessed with, and that's copywriting. And in the last 9 months alone, I've actually spent probably over $30,000 just on copyright coaching, training, and programs. And we're actually going to put my secret collection of email copywriting to good use, sharing all of my highest performing follow-up sequences, all of my marketing sequences, all my email campaigns that you guys can just go and copy for yourself in a couple of clicks. We call it the Copy Vault. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this in the future. Some of these campaigns have made me north of $100,000 on their own. You know, I might hoard them. I might keep them exclusive. But if we do offer them, it's going to be for major money. But you guys get this for free when you sign up at myultimatebonus.com/Kim. You get my entire copy vault. This is every piece of copy and automation that I've ever written. You get my complete and highly profitable sequences, including my offer trigger email. This results in 60% of all of my webinar sales. All of my webinar sales that I ever do, 60% of them come from this one email. So you can instantly plug this into your sequence, into your offer.
The link doesn't
you're
work.
You're going to be able to collect more sales.
Hey,
Okay.
Jamie, the link doesn't work. So we got to fix that. Otherwise, I'll just drop them the straight link that I have.
Okay, this link 100% should be working. Let me just check it right now and make sure you guys can get it.
Yeah. So can you walk through the link itself? Because Michael says it's not working for him. And I just want to make sure that that it does work for everyone.
Yeah, no worries. So I just dropped the link down there in the chat. myultimatebonus.com/Kim. Just make sure you guys put it in just like that. And you guys can go and grab this offer and this bonus. And we're going to make sure you guys can get a hold of that. So that link there in the chat, that one should work for you guys.
Okay.
So this is just bonus number one. And thanks for bringing that up, Kim, because we want to make sure people can go and grab this offer, right? So you can actually copy and paste and also tweet my abandoned cart sequence. This actually generated $15,000 in sales from people who nearly made it. These are people who tried to buy, and we were able to just plug them into the sequence and to get them to actually buy the offer on the back end, which is pretty cool. And you can also get access to my offer launch sequence. And this is responsible for driving people to the live training podcast episodes, so you can get all of the sales from it. So you guys get this. You get the copy vault. Now, whenever you want, you're just going to be able to jump into the vault, find a great email, or find one of my sequences and just mad lib your way to killer emails in no time. This is honestly over $5,000 in value. We spent a lot of time. This is all the emails I've ever spent, but I wanted to put this together because I wanted to make this a no-brainer for you guys. Now, I know a lot of you guys are affiliate marketers. You have your own business. And one of the biggest questions a lot of people ask me is, Jamie, this is really cool, but I want to sell a high ticket product on my podcast, but I don't know what to offer. So in bonus number 2, I'm actually giving you guys something I call the 1 to 2K offer in a box. So every high ticket offer, it follows a really simple structure. You have a lead, you have a sales event, you have an offer, and then you have the delivery. And I want to tell you a tale of 2 offers that sell a $2,000 product because I'm all about getting my time back. So if you have 50 prospects that came in the first situation, you'd have a 60-minute high pressure sales call, probably about 20% of people close. You sell a $2,000 offer, maybe it's one-to-one coaching. It's usually got a lot of components in it that you need to deliver. And it takes about 4 to 8 weeks for you to go and deliver that product. What I want to show you guys here is how you can do something completely different. Same prospects, how you can do a 50-minute intensive call that actually has 50 to 60% close rates that you can sell for between 1,000 to 2 hours for just a 2-hour call. And all you guys need to do to deliver this is just do a 2-hour call and a very simple PDF report. So this is something I teach in my highest level $5,000 a year mastermind. And instead of selling a product for 50 minutes with like a low conversion rate, you're able to go out and sell your offer in just 15 minutes and you can have it delivered in just a couple of hours. And this is the perfect product to sell on the back end of a podcast interview. This high ticket offer, it's easy to build, it's easy to sell, it's even easier to deliver. So instead of spending hours on sales calls and delivering coaching programs or one-to-one experiences, instead you can do like we do and just chill out, get paid $1,000 an hour for the work that you do and spend the rest of your time just relaxing and hanging out on podcasts. So this is a great accompaniment. And essentially, we're going to give you access to our 18-minute cash generator video. This is an 18-minute video I recorded for one of my inner circle students. And they were struggling to make sales. After using and watching this video, they instantly generated more than the cost of the entire year of the $5,000 membership. We're going to give you that unfair advantage so that you guys can have a high ticket offer that you can sell amazingly straight away on your podcast interviews. So that way you can just start podcast closing right away. So you guys are going to unlock the 2 major secret weapons I use in these offers. I'm not going to share them here, but you're going to get them and understand immediately how insanely powerful these are in your business. So bonus 1 is the copy vault. Bonus number 2 is the 1K to 2K offer in a box. Now, bonus number 3, I realized that I'm asking you guys a tall order here, asking you to invest today, right? For $997, it's an investment. A lot of people are worried about COVID and what's going on. And I want to make this a no-brainer for you guys because I want to help you to go to the next level. And some of you guys are worried about waiting 28 days before you can start putting your podcast out there. So wouldn't it be awesome if we can set up a way that you can start profiting from podcasts straight away? So you can step into your new podcast already having realized multiples of your investment. Well, that's what we have right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you our complete system, which you can use for yourself or hand off to a team member to get you on other people's podcasts in less than 5 minutes a day. System number 1, so easy your kids could do it. This shows you how to train a VA, a team member, your wife. Hell, you can train your kids on this. And what that's going to do is show them how they can systematically invite you onto other people's podcasts. So you get better reach, better authority, but you can actually close deals using podcast closing like we're talking to you guys from this training today. And system number 2, that's the complete podcast tour system. So this is the full system structure and video walkthrough showing you how to get on 3 to 5 new podcasts every week in less than 5 minutes a day. Overly valuable, $2,000. So these are the 3 bonuses I want to give you, but that's not all. I also want to give you our podcast closing scripts because after you land your first podcast guest or you get on someone else's show, you're probably wondering, what the heck do I say to get them to give me money? Or maybe you're wondering, how do I do this in a way that doesn't come across as sleazy? So in this bonus, I'm going to give you access to not only the podcast closing scripts of what to say so you can close the sale, I'm also going to be sharing the podcast questions you should be asking that opens up your prospect to saying yes to what you're selling. So we're going to give you the podcast closing script. This script is going to walk you step by step through the important things in the conversation. This is going to be including how to get them to buy in the first 2 minutes, how to get them ready to be buying, and how to make sure that they are going to close on the call, and how to overcome the let me run to my partner objection. But also, I want to give you the podcast interview questions as well, because we're going to walk through what to say to make sure that you can use script number 1, how to get to the sale, including how to get your prospects asking you about your offer and not the other way around, as well as key questions to open up your interviewer to delivering value and building a solid relationship worth over $1,997. These are real values of what we can give you for guys. Now, a lot of people have seen recently, we've been doing pop-up events, offer launches, and I actually want to give you guys my complete funnel for this just to make it even easier. Because we're not done yet. Recently, we've been training our podcast prospects on a new type of pop-up event to pull in your audience to your podcast so you can sell them that core offer that you want. And the last time that we launched this pop-up event funnel, we generated $26,000 in sales from just a small group of people listening to our podcast. This pop-up event funnel is really simple, but it easily allows you to use the offer launch blueprint strategy that we share in the core of the Podcast Profit Lab to make a ton of sales. So if you guys go and get this offer for free right now, I'm going to give you this funnel, a complete walkthrough of the different types of pop-up podcast events that we run. You guys are going to get this completely for free. You're going to get the complete offer launch pop-up event funnel. You can instantly swipe it into your ClickFunnels account that generates over $26,000 in sales using the offer launch blueprint. And you're also going to get the 4 types of pop-up podcasts. These are the 4 different types of pop-up podcast events that you can use in your business, as well as breaking down the most effective for you and for your particular audience. And you guys can get this for free when you sign up at myultimatebonus.com/Kim. So you're going to get the copy vault, the 1 to 2K offer in a box, the podcast press tour, podcast closing scripts, and bonus number 5, the offer launch pop-up event funnel. But I've saved the best for last, because when you guys sign up at myultimatebonus.com/Kim today, you're also going to get, in addition to the copy vault, the 1 to 2K offer, the podcast press tour, the closing scripts, and the offer launch event funnel, one of our best offers ever, which is our full Podcast Profit Lab coaching program. So as soon as you grab your copy of the Podcast Profit Lab, you're going to unlock free enrollment in the next round of our full coaching program. You'll immediately be met in WhatsApp by your personal podcast profit coach, who's going to introduce you to your teams, and they're going to guide you through the entire 28-day Podcast Profit Lab experience. you're not only going to receive one-to-one support in your team's WhatsApp group, but we do live coaching 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you're going to have the ultimate accountability to make sure that you guys can go and launch this offer. We want to make sure that you guys can get through this. This offer, it's absolutely nuts. And we do it because people previously have paid over $3,000 to go through this exact coaching program. But I want to give it to you completely for free because it's honestly the secret for giving people success in this program. By holding your hand through one-to-one coaching, we're able to give you support. We're able to encourage you to unlock badges and help you lead your team to victory and actually have success with your podcast. And through the 1-hour live coaching course, our live coaching is legendary for teaching people to get unstuck, move into that imperfect action, and actually launch the damn podcast. Now, easily this is worth over $8,000. And this is our final bonus for you guys to make sure that we're giving you everything you need to make sure that you can launch your podcast. So just to recap what you guys are going to get today, you're going to get the Podcast Profit Lab, podcast closing secrets, the offer launch blueprint system, the high profile guest outreach masterclass and scripts so you can land those amazing guests, and all the worksheets so you can get all of those done for you assets, as well as all of these amazing bonuses, the copy vault, the 1 to 2K offer in a box, the press tour system, the closing scripts, the event funnel for pop-up podcasting, and our entire Podcast Profit coaching program, where we're going to walk you through everything in the Podcast Profit Lab in the next 30 days. Now, I also want to tell you guys about our 30-day top 200 launch guarantee, because when you sign up today, here's what's going to happen. You're going to launch a top 200 podcast that can easily be turned into a multiple 6-figure business. If you, for whatever inescapable reason, don't create a podcast within a short time frame, launching into the top 200 charts to at least the top 200 position, then you're going to have 2 choices. One, we're going to refund your investment into the Podcast Profit Lab because we are 100% confident if you do what we're telling you inside this program, you will be able to launch into those charts. And option number 2 is you can actually stay in the Podcast Profit Lab, and I'm going to personally help you to relaunch into the top 200 within 60 days. And we do this for a really important reason. It guarantees that no matter what happens, you are going to launch your podcast or your money back. And to qualify for this top 200 launch guarantee, all you need to do is earn the badges for the first 3 modules inside of our program. You need to attend and watch the recording of at least 2 coaching calls per week, and you need to participate in your private WhatsApp group so that we can help you to succeed. We can give you more details of this down at the link below inside of our terms and conditions. But I want to let you guys know, this isn't a gimmick. I've had to honor guarantees like this before. We don't reward bad behavior, and I don't believe in guarantees that just give you an easy way out. So by giving you a way to back down from your investment, I'm actually giving you a chance to give up on yourself, and I'm not prepared to do that. So if you're not serious today about your success and you don't want to be the person to take action, please do not sign up for this offer. We do not give people refunds just because they say, oh, I didn't get to it. We don't want to give you an easy way out. But if you show up and you show up with intention, and you're the kind of person that says, I want to launch a podcast and I want to be able to monetize my business, then we're going to give this to you. Now, Kim has already mentioned to me before this call that she also wants to give you guys some extra bonuses just because she's awesome and she wants you to be signing up inside of the group. So, Kim, these are the bonuses up on the screen. Can you just walk us through these bonuses really quickly and let people know what they're going to get on top of all of the amazing bonuses that we're giving when they actually sign up for this offer?
Yeah, so you guys, I have Group Convert Lifetime. So if you already have Group Convert, that doesn't really, the first bonus doesn't apply to you. It's for new members. I have Challenge Convert, which is a new extension that I just published, and people are really loving it. And I'm gonna quickly just share my screen super quick about Challenge Convert.
Yeah.
Do you guys see mine at
it.
all? Hopefully. Yeah, Challenge Convert, you know how Jamie has that 5-day framework launching within 5 days? Challenge Convert is a Chrome extension that will let you do desktop notification for all your challenge goers. They get a link and then they get your challenge code. They log in and they see everything about your world. They can click to enroll. There's a timer countdown that lets you go ahead and have if you put in the date of your challenge, when your challenge starts, it will actually do a countdown. So I just did a 5-day challenge for you guys recently, last week, and some of you guys experienced it. You saw that there was a countdown, and you can actually go in, change the logo, put all the links, and the links are drip fed according to the date. So after the countdown ends for day 1, day 2, it'll just pop up the day that you need it, so that it really focuses your people to what you're doing. This enabled a lot of my challenge goers to know exactly where to go, what link to do, what link to click on, and it provides top of mind for you. So I have provided a an offer for this that expired already, but now I'm going to offer this challenge convert as part of the bonus stack as well. And then QuickLinkConvert is a Chrome extension that lets you quickly grab links from your screen. And if someone's like, hey Kim, what's your ConvertKit link? Here you go. This is my ConvertKit link. Hey Kim, what's your Jamie link? All right, here you go. And you can add the link right on top of the screen. So it would be like my ultimatebonus.com/Kim would be Jamie's link. So if I were to save that and I go and I search Jamie, it's just going to pop up real quick. I can copy that, paste it into conversation, and not be able to. It's a revenue generating type of.
I actually use that one all the time, Kim. Like that's like pinned on my dashboard at home.
Right? It's so easy to use. I keep it really simple. And then you can also push all the data to your Google Sheets so you'll never lose your links. You can also drop all your links to your Google Sheet and pull all the data into your screen. So I keep it really simple because, this is the way I like it. I just want that simplicity. That's also what you get as well. Then there's the 30-day Chromeboss roadmap. Some of you guys went through my 5-day training and you didn't get into Elite, which is fine, but this enables you to get a glimpse of what it looks like to go from 0 to having an idea to getting your passive income journey started. It's a 30-day Chromeboss roadmap that you get access to. And then also a 7-day group growth email kit. What that is specifically is 7 emails. I sat down with a coach that I paid thousands of dollars for. And then we broke down how do you email your group, and it's 7 days worth of email. So if you have no idea how to communicate to your group or what to say to them when they enter, then it follows Russell Brunson's soap opera sequence, but you customize it for yourself, and there's already content there. So it's kind of like plug and play. So
I love that.
Bonuses for you guys. These bonuses end on Sunday. So I really want you guys, if you're thinking about, hey, how do I get this started? My own journey for getting started anywhere is interviewing a bunch of people. And it ends up that these people, these rock stars, these affiliate marketers, these 7-figure earners, they become my easiest clients because they already have the resources and they get to know me through that interview. And then it's magical. Through just one interview, there's this sense of know, like, and trust. They don't have to be exposed to you like a million times because they already see and hear your voice and interact with you. It's kind of like having coffee with a bunch of rock star entrepreneurs is the path of this podcast method. So if I didn't interview, if I didn't go through this process, I really wouldn't be where I am today. And Jamie, I know personally a lot of my own peers who went through Jamie's podcast program who took it and raved about it and said, oh my gosh, this program is so high quality, blah, blah, blah. And they got results from it. So I'm like, okay, let's see. I know the quality of Jamie's work. Jamie he's stuck with one thing for years. And that's when you know that, the person leading you is serious about teaching this to you. And the fact that he provides one-on-one support through WhatsApp group chat and so many coaching calls a week, 3 times a week. That's insane for how much this is. That means that, you know, in exchange for $1,000, you get to figure out how to go on this journey where you're consistently talking with action takers and with people who have made it. That those are the type of people you interview. So with that said, if you do click on that link, I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to add to my stream. So if you go to, it's HTTP, there's no S, my ultimatebonus.com/Kim. Don't do the S. It does lead to a secure website, but I know for certain short links that if you have the S in HTTPS, it just like glitches up for some reason. But anyways, now you're here, and this is the offer here with my bonuses. What is it? You go and you click there, and it pops up an order form, and then you fill out your name, email, your address, and then you can even do a payment plan, 3 payments of $397, 1 payment of $997. I might be Jamie's customer in the future for sure. I'm definitely like I'm like, this is awesome. He provides you all the scripts. He provides you the whole shebang on doing this, and he's been doing this for years. So I really trust Jamie, and I really trust his process. Name on your card, and then go ahead and get the unfair advantage cheat sheet for only $37, and you can click complete purchase. But if you choose the 3 payment, then it's $434. The order form just popped up right there. You can go ahead and scroll down and see all the testimonials that others have said about his program. I've known Jamie for 2 years now, and Jamie himself, from interviewing, I think he learned about my Chrome extensions, you know. So the power of these interviews is so strong. Jamie has actually subscribed to more than one of my software. So
quite a lot. Yeah, we pay you quite a lot of money every month. So yeah, it's definitely powerful, the interviews.
And so yeah, I'm like, yeah, of course, Jamie, I'm going to be able to add my bonuses and definitely showcase Jamie, because he works really hard. And if you can relate to his story, you know, coming from you know, very limited resources to where he's at now, it's just an incredible journey to see him go where he is now. And when I talk to anyone about Jamie, they're all like, Jamie is a beast, Jamie is a beast, and I don't disagree. So definitely,
nice.
definitely go, and if wherever you click, I think on here on a button, it just pops up that order form again. Oh, actually, not that one. But yeah,
no, that one.
Click the upper button to go through and get his strategy, and also everything that's in it. It's just so much for what he's offering, and you can get started as low as $397. That is incredible. So with that said, I'm going to remove that and add that back.
No worries. Thank you, Kim. And I really appreciate everything you said. And I want to be real with you guys. Like, we're seeing some cool comments. We've got Dado here saying he's bought the Podcast Profit Lab already. Derek saying this was a fire offer stack. So if you guys are on the fence and want to launch and monetize a podcast, jump in. Appreciate that, Derek. I really do. And Michael as well. He's like, this should have been the first ever program I bought. Like, I love interviewing people. What am I doing? Well, Michael, I think you're joining the program. That would be amazing. I really want you to. And something I want to share with you guys is, you know, like Kim says, we've been doing this a really long time, and quite a long time ago, I got really okay with saying to people, look, my program is amazing and I want to be able to help you. And I have such faith in my program. And so many people have come through this experience. And it's really interesting, Kim says about the testimonials. We were counting up our testimonials the other day. We have 454 testimonials from people. We worked it out. That's an average of 2 testimonials per person that's actually come through our program. And we couldn't understand why we had so many testimonials, because we only had 250 people who are in the program. And we started to read through and we started to experience this. And something that's so apparent from the way we put this offer together, because this isn't just an online course. This isn't just a program you're going to buy and sit in the background. We're going to walk you systematically through this. But more than that, we're going to have you coming in and being a part of our community. And you'll have your own team. You're going to have a group of 5 people that are going to be inside of there, maybe 10 people. And you're going to have this own tight-knit group. And we have so many people who are making friends and becoming, lifelong friends inside of these communities. And having that support and having that accountability, that was the biggest thing that helped not only me and Gina to go out and build our business, but to help the people inside of our program to take those next steps. And I want you guys to know that wherever you're at in your business today, a lot of you guys have your thing, and some of you guys are still in the weeds and trying to still figure it out. Like Kim said, being able to go out, being able to interview these incredible entrepreneurs, just having that platform on its own is worth way more than $1,000. But us also showing you how to make back your investment and how to go through it step by step is going to be the thing that's going to help a lot of you guys to go from being where you're at to starting to hit the big time. And I wanted to put this offer together because I know that, hey, some of you guys are going to need different parts of this offer. Some of you guys aren't going to need all of it, right? Some of you guys are going to say, oh my God, if I can just use this 18-minute video and sell a $2,000 product, I'm going to be super happy. Some of you guys are going to say, man, I wish I could get the emails. That's amazing. Some of you guys are going to want the scripts. Some of you guys want the funnel. But more than anything, what we're going to give you is that support and accountability through it. So let me know down below, like, where are you at in your journey with your business? Let me know down below because I want to know about your businesses. I want to be able to spend just the next 10 minutes or so giving you guys my opportunity for me to help you guys understand, okay, what does this look like for me? What am I able to do with a podcast? How can I take it to the next level? So if you're here right now and you're on the fence, like if you're listening to this right now and we've been going for 1 hour and 54, the truth is you're here for a reason. You're not here just for fun. You're here because you're listening to this content and something is resonating. You're thinking, man, maybe I should put myself out more. Maybe I should put myself out into the world. If that's you, like there's so many people that are like that. I have students like Roxana, who was so terrified to even just stand up and put her voice out there in the online world. And the podcast gave her a platform to do that. People like Tammy, who was absolutely terrified of public speaking. She literally couldn't even do a meeting with her team when she worked as an accountant. And now because of the Podcast Profit Lab, like she's been able to actually go out and launch a podcast and find her voice. And for me, that's the thing that I'm the most passionate about. It's about the people who are coming through this program, the real results that they're getting. It's amazing for us to say we've made $6 million, right? And our business and all of the people that are inside of our program have generated that collectively. But for me, the most important thing is those little stories, these little people. Lori being able to go from making a sporadic $500 a month to this year closing Dan Henry as a client because she interviewed him on her podcast and having a $30,000 month. Like, to me, going from where she was to that, like, that's so important to me. And I want you guys to understand that we put our heart and soul into this. This is me. This is Gina. We're both coaching inside of this program because we really want to be able to make you guys help and get to that next level. So Michael has a good question. He says, I already have been doing interviews. Will I be able to build on what I already have? Yes, Michael, 100%. It's really interesting that we have about 60% of the people that join the Podcast Profit Lab. They actually are existing podcasters. These are people who are already doing interviews. These are people who already are doing this process, but they join our program because they want to do it better. They want to be able to understand how to do better interviews, how to be able to leverage and actually get a better ranking and be able to increase their authority. But crucially, they want to know how they can actually make money from it. So Michael, actually the fact that you're already doing interviews is actually really great because that means you're going to have a lot of the groundwork and the pieces done. And that means when you come into the program, you're going to hit the ground running really fast. And a lot of you guys who come into this program, we're going to show you straight away how to start having these sales conversations in a really easy way. And a lot of you guys will usually start making sales very, very quickly if you do that. So yes, Michael, we cover all of that. We cover distribution, everything that you're going to need to know about how to actually launch a successful podcast. Everything like that is covered completely inside of the program. And we do that because it's actually a lot easier than most people realize. Most people don't realize that these processes and these things that you have to do, it's usually only a couple of minutes of actually setting up. We have a technical section inside of our membership site, And it's actually only 5 minutes of videos. It's 3 videos that add up in total to 5 minutes. And that will set you up on everything technical that you need to do to make sure that you can distribute and get everything out there. One of the things that people love about the program, and I was actually speaking to Cindy a couple of days ago. She came through the program a while ago. She said, Jamie, the thing I love about the Podcast Profit Lab more than anything else is that it's simple, right? We're not here to overwhelm you. Inside of our membership site, we actually have something called TLDL videos. TLDL, it's a take on TLDR. It stands for too long didn't listen. Because I know what entrepreneurs are like, right? We get busy. We don't listen to stuff. So I purposely made 1-minute videos so you guys can get through the content. And a lot of the videos in there are only 2 to 3 minutes long. So you can actually go in and just get that bite that you need. And we're going to keep it really, really simple so that you can step into action. You know, Michael, it's funny. I had a guy come through our program called James Johnson, and he's an incredible, incredible guy, huge heart, really big family man. But he's addicted to buying online courses, like for real. Like he's even said to me, like, man, I'm just buying courses left, right, and center. He told me he'd done 34 courses in the last 18 months. 34. He said to me, he said, Jamie, yours was the only course and the only program that I actually finished. And he said, the reason that I was able to finish it was 2 things. He said, first, it was the support and the hand-holding. But second, it was how simple everything was. And that's what I want to explain to you guys. This process of doing what we're talking about, it isn't complicated. It's very, very simple. But just because it's simple doesn't mean that it's easy. And that's what we want to do. We want to walk you through that process to give you that support. Michael, that's why I shared that story, because like I sensed that you were a lot like James. And you know, this is the key thing, right? Like it's one thing. I love buying online courses. I think I've spent nearly $100,000 this year just on online products, courses, coaching. But the key thing is actually getting you through it to get the end result. And that's one thing that we are really, 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 really good at. And so I'm excited for you. And yeah, we'll get you up with James in the program, and he can, you know, attest to that and give you that course buying addiction hand-holding section, because that's something that we all suffer from. I know that 100%. So
I want to add that Michael bought my Chromeboss course for $9.97 when he met me live, and he actually went through the whole course, and he has now 2 Chrome extensions. So so to give Michael credit, he does buy courses, but he does also
badass. But he does them.
He'll do the work. And it does take like motivation to also help Michael along. And I just want to give Michael that credit that he's just not addicted to a bunch of courses.
I love that.
Work. So Michael, and this is something else I know about Michael. He has been doing interviews left and right all the time. So this is kind of like, now you can turn on that monetization part, Michael, that you've been, you know, kind of lacking, if for lack of a better word, if
to be fair, like Kim, like so many people struggle with that, right? So many people struggle with the making money from the interview. They can get the interview, but they don't know how to connect it to money in their bank account. And Michael, the good thing is, because you already know that stuff, it's just going to be a couple of tweaks, and a couple of different approaches, and you're going to be off to the races with those existing interviews you've done. Because you're right, Kim, like so many people struggle with that, right?
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we don't know what we don't know. Like some of my own people coming into my Chromeboss program, they've already made like money from it. Like Adrian Lepp, he already did $450,000 on his Chrome extensions. Wow. And he never collected one email. Not one email. He just put his Chrome extensions on these marketplaces. When I'm like, okay, well, here's the way you can collect emails first and do that second. And he's like, oh my gosh, I missed out on 250,000 emails. And I'm like, oh man, you crazy. But yeah, even people that probably know, like they're interviewing people, they're making money through podcasting. Like I didn't even know that you could have a tool to publish your podcast episode across all these platforms, and it takes like 5 minutes. I didn't even know that exists. So just things like that, like you know so much in your wheelhouse about how to save so much time and how to motivate that. I feel like even if someone is interviewing, making income from interviews, It's just that you will be able to provide another dimension that they won't even think about outside of their whatever they're doing. So,
100%. And it's just that one little tweak. That's why I say all the time is it doesn't have to be complicated. You know, we're going to walk you through this process, but literally just one thing that's inside of this program could be the difference between you going from where you are to where you really want to get to, you know?
Yeah, and Derek said something that was super nice because Derek's a nice dude. He says if Michael grabs this offer, he's going to add his additional bonuses even if you buy through Kim's link. So super nice, Mike. Super nice, Derek. I don't know what bonuses you're offering, but Derek owns a lot of software, so I'm thinking maybe something software related.
Cool.
So Derek, maybe you can extend that offer to other people as well in this community. Who knows? But that's so cool. Thank you, Derek, for popping up. And this whole close is just for me. Does anyone else have any other questions? We have 14 minutes left for the live only bonus, and then all the other bonuses will end on Sunday. And you'll be able to see all my bonuses and what they're about on the replay page. So if you guys are on the fence right now, or you missed most of the interview, most of the training, don't worry. This replay will be available on my replay page, and as well as breakdown of the bonuses, so you can watch everything over again. But make sure that if you're thinking about it, if you're going, podcasting is the route for me, and I want to be able to connect with, above monetizing, connect with all these awesome rock stars and being able to do it in an effortless way. When I started asking people to just do interviews with me, it felt really awkward and weird for me. But a lot of people ended up saying yes. And just if they said no, if they shut me down, then I don't know where I would be now. It's because of the few people who said yes to talking to me that changed my life entirely. So Jamie has the system and the scripts. I think what's really important is the scripts, to go and get those quick wins, that get those yeses from, you know, I wouldn't like Grant Cardone's wife or Dan Henry. That's insane. So yeah.
And I love that she closed Dan Henry as well. Like, that's my favorite thing. I said to her, hey, you should go interview Dan Henry. And then she was literally like, should I make him an offer? And I said, yes, don't worry. Just because he's got $10 million in sales, like, those are the people that love to buy stuff the most. And she hit him up, and then she wrote, you know, she edited his book for him, and it was incredible. So, and Kim, I really second what you say there. What we'll show you is all of the technical, like, launch it and how to make the money, but the hidden benefits that you will receive from publishing and interviewing these incredible people. Like, for me, and I know it's the same for you, Kim, like, it defined who I am. Like, if it wasn't for those interviews, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that's crazy because it's so easy for you guys to get started. And once you start speaking to these people, your life can start to change dramatically. So yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. So if anybody else has got any other questions, then please speak now or forever hold your peace. And if you are on the fence right now, and if you do have questions, you know, sometimes in a public forum is a little scary. Maybe you're catching the replay. Don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. You guys can see me here commenting inside of this Facebook Live. You can shoot me a message on Facebook. You can send me a message on Instagram at Jamie Atkinson. And if you've got questions, or, you know, you're not sure, or how does this work for me, please feel free to reach out, or you can even email us at the link on the screen, which is jamie@atkinsonmediagroup.com. Because so often we sometimes think, okay, I really want to do this, but maybe there's something that's holding you back. And I know a lot of people, you know, some of that big fear that's happening right now is because of COVID, right? It's because of the fears about the pandemic and about what is going to happen. And, you know, things are going to get worse. Are they going to get better? You know, so what I want to encourage all of you to understand is that, you know, now more than ever, moving into the online space, if you can learn how to leverage other people's platforms, if you can learn how to leverage this attention that is existing online, then it's going to be really powerful for you. Michael's in, just got in. I love that, Michael. That's kind of cool. And dude, I can't wait to have you inside the program. It's going to be an absolute blast. So Kim, any final things that you wanted to say? Doesn't look like we've got any more questions coming in.
Yeah, there's 10 more minutes, you guys. This is when you should ask questions. And part of like when Jamie was going through his whole offer stack, to me, it was so much stuff. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is so much value. So this is your chance to ask anything specific about this stack, worksheets, checklists, systems, templates, outreach, masterclass scripts, the launch blueprint. Don't get lost in the little details. What it comes down to is if you have been interviewing for a while and you haven't figured out how to turn on that monetization engine for your podcast, for your interview show, then this offer, to me, it's like, here, trade $375 or trade $1,000 and learn how to connect with all these crazy people who are making their own dents in the universe and having them be part of your world. If you can have those type of people be part of your world, especially on the online space where it's really about relationships, it's really about connecting with others. I know if you guys are listening at all and you're watching the replay, most of you will be watching the replay. I know that you bought stuff from me because you see me and you relate to me for a while. It's like it's a whole relationship. It's hearing about me somewhere, and then now it's coming closer and closer, and then it's here. And so it's the same concept of being able to connect with all these people. So they might meet you on that podcast and then you close them there. But if you don't close them, they will continue following you and following your journey because they were once where you are. Every single person that I interview that has an impact in the world were once where I was, or I was kind of like where they are years ago. So they always relate to me. They always see where I'm coming from. And especially when you're interviewing people who, just the other day, I interviewed Troy Dean, and I didn't know that he, he's a multiple 7-figure earner. He has this huge team, and he's he's like a big deal in the WordPress world. I didn't know that until I had a chance to talk with him, and it just blew me away. So if Jamie holds the keys to having you connect with all these people and make it easy for you to publish and make it effortless for you to close, then I'm saying get into this offer before the bonuses end. It ends this Sunday. This offer is only specific for you guys, for my audience. And that's all. That's all I have to say. It's kind of long-winded, but
no, I love it. I love it. And this is the key thing, right? So many of you are coming into this idea of podcasting. Maybe it's not something you thought about before, but there's never been a more important time to own your own content, especially with everything that happens with Facebook and people being shut down. I mean, even 2 years ago, Kim, I ended up getting shut down by Pinterest. I had a Pinterest agency, and overnight the algorithm shut down. My account got blocked for just no good reason. And my business completely collapsed. And the problem was I was completely reliant on that one platform. So now when we have our business online, we're in multiple different places. Yeah, we still have our Facebook group. We still have our Facebook profile. But I know that whatever happens, I'm always going to have my podcast feed. I'm always going to have my email list. And it doesn't matter what happens online. Communist China could come in and shut everybody down, and I've still got my customer lists. And that's so important to understand because it's something that you actually own. And that's all I really wanted to say. So Kim, I don't mind finishing early. It doesn't like I've got any more questions or anything like that. It's been super fun coming in and training with you guys. I hope you got a ton of value. I really encourage you to go and take action, especially to go in and use that little script I was sharing about how to get people to actually become a podcast guest straight away. It's really, really powerful. So let me know how you guys get on with that. And then we can help you figure out the monetization on the back end with the Podcast Profit Lab.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's yeah, it's been 2 hours, 12 minutes here. Man. Thank you for sticking it out with us, you guys. And any last words, Jamie? If not, then we're all good. And I'm gonna click end broadcast.
Yeah, no worries, guys. I'm just super happy to have been here. I hope you got a ton of value. And like I said, if you have more questions about how to do this, we've been really lucky to help a lot of people create incredible podcasts. Please just reach out and we can answer any questions you've got.
All right. Bye, guys. Oh, yeah. If you like that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.